Hi, everybody. This is Joanna, Lynette, and Michelle. We are doing our Best Tech presentation on using Google Forms for quizzes and other add-ons. If you're unfamiliar with Google Forms, it is an app designed for creating surveys, tests, or web input forms. Google Forms allows anyone to create an easy-to-use web form tied to a spreadsheet where you can collect and track results. So if you want to get started, the first thing you would do is go into your Google Drive and go to New, and you would go to Google Forms, and you'll see up in the left-hand corner that you would have to scroll down and then, you would initially open a standard new form, and then you can customize this one, or you can also go to the pre-made templates. But before you do that, you should always title your form in the upper left-hand corner so that it saves and you know which one you're talking about. So if you want to go to the pre-made templates, do that. If you're looking for education pre-made templates, you just keep scrolling down over here, and then you would see all the different templates that are available for you to choose. However, if you would rather not use a template, you could create and customize it the way you want to. So you would go into the upper right-hand corner. Up here, you'll click on the color palette, and all these choices of colors come up. And as you can see on the form itself, it'll become whatever color you click on. And then over on the right, you could also select a theme. And these are just some of the themes that are available, and it can go along with the type of form or quiz you are making. Today's focus in Google Forms is how you can make your Google Form a quiz. So if you're happy with your Google Forms appearance, you would turn it into a quiz by going to the settings wheel and up in the upper right-hand corner. And at first, in the general tab, there's an option for collecting emails. If you're able to add your students to emails, this is very helpful when it comes to returning and grading quizzes and giving them back to your students. And you may want to select this option and add email information for your students. But if your students don't have email access, like in Baldwin in the elementary level, they don't have their own emails, then you can just leave this blank and you would give them their feedback in Google Classroom. And then you'd click on your quizzes options and you would turn your form into a quiz by moving the toggle over. And below then you are given a variety of quiz options and you can select the ones that you would like. So here's your quiz, and then you would be able to choose from the options. Now, let's look over the different features that you see on your Google Form page. First, we have the title right here. And under that is the line for description. You may choose to write a description, but this is really a great place also to put your directions for your quiz. And under the title is where then you would write your first question. We recommend that you have your first question for your students to be their first and last name, and that you make it required, because this is helpful when you're matching the students' responses to the appropriate student later on. And then also it will come in handy when you're talking about results of their responses. And then the drop-down menu shows the different types of questions that you will ask. It automatically defaults to multiple choice. But once you start typing in your question, then it will automatically change to the response type that it thinks that you're looking for. So depending on the words that you use, it might be a short response, a multiple choice answer, a paragraph answer, but you can always go to that drop-down menu and override whatever it automatically changed to by selecting what you want from the drop-down menu. And we'll go over how to add questions and responses and choices in a second, because we're going to do that live, and we'll show you how to do all these additional features that you see here, but by types of questions, and also the different features that we see on the right.
So if we go live in order to do a Google form, I'm just going to leave it the standard pre-made form. And I'm going to first type in my title. This is going to be General Science Info Quiz. And I'm going to make my description be my directions. Demonstrate, it's a little typo, demonstrate your knowledge of science facts by answering the questions below. And now I'm going to go over here, and my first question is going to be for name, first and last, and it automatically defaulted to short answer. I'm going to come down here and make this a required question by moving this over. And now that I have my first question, I'm going to go and add a second question. This will be a multiple choice question. So I will say, which of the following animals is a mammal? And as you see, it stays at multiple choice. I'm going to make option 1 be a cardinal. Over here, I'm going to click on option 2, and that's going to be a shark. Option 3 will be a frog. And option 4, I will make a dog. You're also going to see in blue, it says add other. This is if you want one of your options to be the word other. If you click it, as you can see, it comes up as other, which sometimes is useful. In this case, it's not. So I'm just going to come over here to the X and erase it. Okay, so here are my question choices. And now I can go down and add another question. And I'm going to write a short answer response. So here I'm going to write, describe the characteristics of a reptile. And as you see, it defaulted to paragraph, and that's what I want. So I'm going to leave it that way. Here I have my 2 questions. I forgot to make it a quiz. So as you can see, since I forgot to make it a quiz, I am not seeing any answer choices. It's just a regular form. I have to go up to my settings and turn it into a quiz. So that was a little mistake. If that happens, no big deal. Just go up, go to quizzes, make it a quiz, and hit save. And doing that, I could see now, since it's a quiz, it does allow me the choice of an answer key. So after I put my questions in, I can go into my answer key. And this is where I can assign point values to a question. This is helpful in multiple choice because it can check your multiple choice and it can give your students points based on their answers because you are marking if it's correct or incorrect. The point values aren't helpful for short response or paragraph questions because in that case, it can't check the work. It doesn't have the correct answer. So it's kind of useless there. So here I'm going to click on the dog is the correct answer. And I'm going to make it worth 5 points. And then I can move on to my second one. Again, this is paragraph. So if I click in here, it's not really worth it to add points. I can add answer feedback. I could possibly write the correct answer there. But this really comes more into play when you are correcting your students' responses and you want to give them feedback later on. So I'm going to leave it there. If I add another question, I'm just going to do it here just to really show you the different question choices you have. The most common are short answer, paragraph, or multiple choice. But you could also use checkboxes or a drop down. You can make scales or grids. So there's a variety of different types of questions that you can ask. And we're going to go back to the slideshow, Joanna.
Yep. Okay. So then it comes time. So Michelle just went over the different types of questions, short paragraphs, types of questions, multiple choices, adding checkboxes, and now it comes to student responses. So what do you do once you have your students' responses? You can either choose as a summary, as a whole class, or individual. Okay, so on the page, you'll see your students' responses. Here's where you click on the pencil, you could see responses, and then summary, you could either click to view the whole summary, you can click to view individual responses, you could click the green button and that will take you to Google Sheets and display the information that way. And then you click on the 3 buttons to have all these choices that are shown above. Then if you chose a summary, this is how your answers would be displayed by all your students. And then if you wanted individual, you could see how each child answered each question, and that would be helpful as well. And over here, the feedback is where you could give your information back to your students when they see how they did. Okay, again, feedback, and this is where you would give the individual feedback. Here is an example of using the information in Google Sheets. And now Lynette's going to take it away.
Hi everyone, Lynette here, and I'm going to talk to you guys about Google Forms add-ons. As you probably realized so far, Google Forms is a really great tool to use, but there's odds are it's probably missing some things that you might still want. Add-ons allows you to add extra features to your forms. You can get customized notifications, you can turn your form entries into documents, and a lot more. Where do you find Google Form add-ons? If you go to the menu screen right here inside of Google Forms and go down to add-ons, you can find a whole list of different add-ons that you can use for forms. Then you're going to get a new little puzzle piece added to your screen here that looks like this, with a menu that lists all the add-ons that you've installed so far. One of my favorite was Choice Eliminator. It allows you to eliminate options from multiple choice lists or checkbox questions if they've already been selected. Well, why would you use something like this? It's a great way to make a sign-up form where respondents can each select a day or time, like parent-teacher conferences, for example, or when students are choosing topics for a report, you won't end up doubling up. All questions required was another really awesome add-on that I found. It simply switches all of the toggles from unrequired to required in one click of a button. Great time saver. QR Code Maker was another one that I really enjoyed and used with my students recently. It's an add-on for Google Form that generates the QR code of your form instantly so that other people can access it. How will we use it? Well, teachers can place QR codes at stations where children can access a Google Form quiz, a Google comprehension check, a survey, an exit card, whatever you might think. Just today, I had my students create QR codes for a Google Form quiz that they created about a human body system they've been researching. They wrote an informational book about it, and they created a quiz with a QR code. They really enjoyed it. Form Limiter is another add-on that could be beneficial to some people. It shuts off the Google form when prompted after a set number of responses or a certain day and time. This add-on is great for timed assignments, event registration with limited seats, or other first come, first served scenarios. GMath would be an add-on that I would think maybe more middle school and high school teachers would use, where you can create graphs, statistical displays. It allows you to write complex math directly into the forms. What's cool is that you can write virtually any mathematical expression directly from your computer or your touchscreen, and the inputs are really easy, so you don't have to know math coding or programming. The computer program here at the add-on understands exactly what you're doing, and you can even dictate, or because there's a speech function and a handwriting entry tool. Flubberoo is my favorite. It's a free add-on to Google Forms, kind of goes along with Sheets too, which lets you quickly grade and analyze student performance on multiple choice and fill-in assignments. Within a minute, there's so many things you can do. You get scores for each kid, you can see who needs help still, you can view average scores, it identifies questions that a lot of kids have missed, you can even share scores with them via email or their Google Drive, because we don't have access to email, and you can even score your open-ended questions on your own. I found a short video that I think you'll really enjoy.
Did you know that you can use Google Forms to give assignments and assessments to your students in classes? And now with Flubberoo, you can quickly grade them too. I created a fake assignment as a Google form, and I've submitted answers myself. All of the submissions were automatically inserted into the destination spreadsheet shown here. Now that I have all the submissions, I'd like to grade them, which is where Flubaroo comes in. Flubaroo is an add-on that you can install from right within the spreadsheet. To save time in this demo, I've already pre-installed it. Once installed, you'll see a new menu called Flubaroo underneath the main add-ons menu. Let's select Grade Assignment and see what happens. In step 1, Flubaroo asks me to select a grading option for each question asked, such as if it's worth points, if it identifies a student like a name or an email address, or if it should be skipped. Flubaroo will do its best to identify the correct option for you. Once I've correctly selected all grading options, I can click Continue to move on. In step 2, Flubaroo asks me to identify which submission should be used as the answer key. Looking through them, I recognize the first one as the submission I made earlier, which I want to use as the answer key. Once selected, I can continue on with the grading. Once started, the grading should finish within under a minute. Great, it's done already. Now I can click on View Grades to see the result. Note that to record the grades, Flubaroo has created a new adjacent worksheet called Grades, seen here in the lower left. At the top of this worksheet is a summary of the grading, including the average score and other useful statistics. Beneath this are the grades themselves, which include the total score expressed in both points and percent, the number of times this student made a submission, and of course, the score for each individual question, which in this case is either 0 points or 1 point. Also, for each question, the very last row shows the percent of students who got it correct. Questions on which less than 60% of the students got the right answer are highlighted in orange. Additionally, the names of the students will be in red font if they scored less than 70% on the assignment. Besides grading, Flubaroo has other useful features as well. For example, Flubaroo can show you a report showing the distributions of grades, which you can email to yourself. Additionally, and most popularly, Flubaroo can email grades to each student. You'll have the option to include an answer key or not, as well as a personal message to include in the email. Thanks for watching. I hope Flubaroo can be helpful to you and your students. Please send comments or feedback to dave@edcode.org. Keep Flubarooing.
We hope you enjoyed our presentation about Google Forms and some of the beneficial add-ons that you can use with it. Please check the discussion board for an assignment that we would like you to complete. Again, hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.